everyone, welcome back to all my subscribers. For all the newbies, I'm Raena and this is my channel. I'm actually getting ready to show y'all how to make a wig or quick weave using a homemade stocking cap. Now if you saw my last tutorial, you know how I made the homemade stocking cap out of an old pair of stockings. This is part 2. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure you have your wig brush on hand because you will need to comb through the hair. It doesn't really matter lengthwise. You know, you might want to put the longer hair at the back, or you might want to put the shorter hair at the back. It really just depends on what type of look you're getting. And you don't have to use wavy weave because I have wavy hair. You could use straight or kinky. It really just depends on what you're trying to achieve, the look you're trying to achieve. Okay, so I haven't exactly separated this hair, so I really don't know which track is longer. I do know that there's 2 different lengths, so I am using 2 different lengths. But it kind of doesn't matter because if you're doing this with your own style hair, then I mean, it doesn't matter. You just want me to do the wig, right? An old trick I like to use, and this is just so you know you don't get any glue on your hair. Get a plastic bag, put it over your head first. And you can see there's makeup on here because I made a wig earlier this week. Make sure that this is as flat to your head as possible. That's why it's twisted back here. It needs to be tightened, actually. But, alright. Okay. And now you can put the stocking cap back on your head because your hair is protected now. This is going to be really easy. This is the easiest quick weave method, and it's just track by track. And yes, you do have to cut your tracks. And if you don't want to cut your real human hair, get some pack hair. And believe me, there's some very high quality pack human hair. It's not 100% human, even though they, you know, market it as that. It's really not 100% human. It's like a mix or a blend, or it's a blend of human hair and synthetic fibers, but it's high quality synthetic fibers. But it's mostly human, I think. That's why it's able to be marketed as human hair, like 100% human hair, but it's not. Always measure it in a U shape, okay? Measure your track at the base, and then you're gonna cut after you measure that. And remember, you're kind of gluing it in a U shape. It should attach in a U shape coming from the back of your head. Any kind of glue is fine. I actually want to start using clear glue though, because I use black glue all the time, but I feel like clear glue would probably be best for the flesh colored stocking caps. You don't have to be overbearing. Just about this much is standard. Like that should be enough. And then even that is kind of enough. And like you don't want to get the glue in the actual hair. Like even on the roots of the hair, it will be bad. I mean, it kind of doesn't matter if it gets messy. It's messy. Oh well, c'est la vie. Ain't nobody gonna be looking that hard anyway. But you know, just be scarce with your glue. You don't have to gob it on there. And make sure you put it on the track. Don't have it like on your hair. Try to avoid getting it on the hair. And you press it down like so. Now I will say that some people, they actually use hair spritz when they're gluing their tracks because I think it makes the glue hold. Usually every time I use glue, I use spritz. But even when I don't use spritz, I think my tracks kind of hold about the same. But I will say it makes the glue dry faster. So that's something to consider. And then you just keep measuring the tracks in a U shape until you get, I guess, as full as the ear, by the ears. And I'll show you what I'm talking about when I'm done with this part. So it's going to speed up a bit. Okay, so about 3 tracks is an earful, as you can see right here. This is what I mean by like an earful. Now that you're here, you can start making them straight across instead of the U shape. And as you can see, my hands did get kind of messy. And they will. I mean, if you don't like mess on your hands, just wear some gloves. So we're going to seal up the U. And for those who don't get my accent, seal as in seal it up. Because I said seal, but you know what I mean, seal. All right, so about a third of the wig is done. Now we can start kind of focusing on the front perimeter. Now this is where the shorter weave comes in at. All right, so wherever you decide to put your part, it could be in the middle, it could be on the side somewhere. I'm doing mine on this side, so we're gonna go. And this is just how I do my parts. You can do your parts and your bangs any way you want to, because it's your hair and you have to wear it. I mean, you should want to wear it anyway, because if you made it and it's what you like, I mean, rock it. Make sure that you get to the edge of the cap. I don't know if you can see it from my take, but try to get as close to the edge of the cap as possible. And start, you know, the placement at the edge of the cap by your ear, because at least you'll know where your bang is ending and you won't be guessing and you won't be sticking it to the wrong place. Yeah, and just make sure that you get it at the end of your cap. And again, this is messy, it's glue, so. And if you don't like mess, wear gloves. For real, for real. Like, I'm not even trying to be facetious. And then I would tell you to mark the middle of your hair. I mean, like, usually when I have the black stocking caps, I mark the middle so I know where the bang is supposed to end, or like the hair pieces for the bang is supposed to end. I really don't like marking the flesh tone color ones. All right, so we're gonna stop right about here. That's where you're gonna, the hair pieces for the bang will probably stop. And I know it doesn't look right now, because you're like, why is the part so far apart? You will see it exactly what I'm about to do. There's a method to my madness. All right, so the bang area is kind of like partially filled up. And this is where you bring the longer piece back out. Now, this is also where you could bring in like the second longest piece. Like if you have 3 different hair lengths. And so what I'm doing is basically wrapping the track around in a full circle. Not really full circle. It's just enough where it's around my head to where it lines up with the part that's in a bang. We'll see how this turns out. And this is honestly why I didn't want to do the marker in the first place. On flesh colored caps, I can have a better visual of what I'm doing. Whereas on the black caps, I had to mark because I can't really gauge where the bang is supposed to. I don't know how I'm explaining this. Never mind. All right, so at this point, you're gonna start going back to just taking care of the back of the wig. And you're gonna start filling it in with tracks straight across again. And you're doing it straight across so you can fill it in, all right? Before you do like the closure and then the part. And this took me about 2 tracks. It might take you more. Not too much more though, maybe like no more than 4 tracks to fill it in. So besides the little glue mistake here, this is what it should look like. So as you can see, it's becoming a perfect circle again. And you can go back to forming your circle. Little circular tracks. And just a heads up, your measurements may not always be accurate, and that's okay. Because you're not a professional. You're just doing your own hair. Honestly, going to the salon nowadays, and this isn't everywhere, and this isn't every stylist, you know, in a majority of places, and I really hate that it's become this, you know, it's almost as if the stylists aren't even really trying to do their jobs anymore. It's like they want you to come with your hair washed and blown out and braided down already, but to install a wig or a weave, it's like $350. And it's like, I mean, for that amount of money, I could just do my own shit. Let me stop being lazy. All right, so once you get this far with your wig, now you can go ahead and start making full circles. Okay, first of all, I don't know if you can see it, but that's your marker. And you're about to hit that with this full circle, your first full circle. And as you can see, this is your part, or what will be your part. And if you hear that crackling, you know, don't be disturbed by that, because remember the plastic bag, you will hear some ruffling. But it's better that it gets on the plastic bag than your hair. So you can see it now. The circle is closed. All right, and so now you just start wrapping the tracks around in a full circle until it's time to make your closure. All right, so as you can see, the circle is now small enough to prepare a closure. You should always try to get it as small as about the size of a quarter, maybe a $50. A $50 might be too big though. Somewhere between a quarter and a $50. How you do that? I will actually have to explain that in another tutorial, but there is a way to make a closure out of just pure tracks. So I'm about to do that and then I'll be right back. All right, so this is the closure that I made. As you can see, I tried to get it as close to the circle as possible, or the size of the circle as possible. All right, so now I'm going to take the flat part of the closure and I'm going to put glue on it. Again, you don't need a lot of glue, but with this, like, it's still kind of wet. Actually, I'm gonna wait until it gets kind of tacky, if that makes sense, like, you know, sticky, just to dry a little, because if it's on there and it's wet, it might seep onto the hair. You don't want that. So it's a little tacky now. Make sure all the hair is out of the way. You're going to stick it onto that space like so. But in doing this, make sure that you have it positioned the way that you want your closure to be positioned. So now that's sticking, and now you can work on the part. Now I would advise for you to clip your hair out of the way, like if you can get, you know, a hairpin or like a clamp or something. Okay, so take the hairpin. And you pin this out of the way. All right, so what we're gonna do is half of an invisible part. And an invisible part is basically like when you lay the tracks like on top of each other going backwards. This is what it looks like on this side. And I'd advise not to do anything to your bang. Your bang is fine for right now. And what you gotta focus on is this part of your head. Since we're gonna only do half, I mean, it's gonna be a full invisible part. Like, it's gonna appear that way, but it's really half because you're only doing half the side with the actual technique. You're going to put glue on the small part. Remember, not a whole lot. And you can start from the bottom. Starting from the bottom is actually best. You're just going to stack them starting from the edge and going towards the closure. And as you can probably already tell, it's going to definitely cover up all the glue. And that is a good thing. Some people, they like to do their invisible parts diagonally. I do mine straight. I mean, I used to do them diagonally. And it works both ways. Like, it really doesn't matter how you lay them. Just make sure that they're like laying straight on top of each other. Like, not directly on top of each other, but like the hair is covering the tracks and they're like kind of neatly placed. This piece is diagonal. And I might just finish off that way. I think I'm gonna finish off diagonal. Once you're done with the half invisible part, you are officially done with your wig. All right? And this is how mine came out. Yours might come out different, you know, again, depending on the texture of hair you used and the length and everything. But this is basically it. And I think it's cute. Not bad for something completely homemade. Just so you can see how to take it off and put it on. All right, remember, you glued it on, so it's still gonna be stuck to the black cap that you got in there. So you gotta pull the black cap off. And it just peels off. And as you can see, like I said, the glue will come through the cap, which is why it's best to protect it with something over your head so it doesn't get in your hair. So yeah, once you got that pulled off, all right, and then you just put it on like so. And that is your wig. And you can wear it whenever, for whatever, because again, it's your wig. I really like how this turned out. This is pretty. I really like the hair too. Oh, I just can't get over this. Like, this is so cute. I really like how this came out. All right, well, that's it. Thanks again for watching. See ya.